Oh, what time is it? Oh shoot, I'm late for work. Plus, I have an appointment at 5:15. Damn. I need a vacation. This isn't a healthy way to live, folks. You needn't be sweating and stressed out like Mike Tyson in a spelling bee. In fact, there is a certain beauty in time itself. And your time and your own life energy ought supersede any potential gold watch. Welcome to Helter Shelter and to part 1 of 8 crazy years living on the road. Most people's vacation involves leaving home. My vacation consists of being home. It isn't necessarily an endless vacation, but more of a lifestyle where you live your life on your terms. You most definitely cannot be a hoarder and live this lifestyle. However, when you take in the different sights, sounds, and ambiances you experience while out on the road, it creates spiritual energy, as the emphasis is transformed from your possessions to your health, environment, and wanderlust. The freedom you achieve is very much worth it. The sedentary life is not for everyone. Some of us prefer living on the road, living wherever we'd like to live, and to be able to instantly move if too noisy or rude neighbors are present. Where there's a will, there's a way. The feeling you get on the road is like the sensation you get after your final exam. You can breathe, and your spirituality increases when you have the ability to change scenery at will. This affordable luxury is tough to put a price on. I highly recommend decluttering your life while there is still some measure of freedom left to pursue such things. It really is empowering when you finally divorce the criminal cabal as you ditch cable TV, gas and electric utilities, water and sewer utilities, and garbage collection fees. You will also be shit-canning your crippling rent or mortgage, your homeowner's insurance, and those dastardly property taxes. I truly pity those who believe they are safe by doing whatever everyone else is doing. This is normal, but it's folly that is demonstrable time and again. Anything new or different to these enfeebled folk is met with the look you'd imagine the glassy-eyed inmate's first trip to the communal showers to be. As a rule, new RVs depreciate faster than just about any other asset. They lose approximately half of their value within the first 5 years. So it is easy to find a 10-year-old rig with low miles for about 25% cost of a new one. I will usually buy a 15 to 20-year-old RV because I consider it a disposable home. Buying an inexpensive coach, living and traveling in it for 5 years, then selling it for half of what I paid for it allows for an extraordinary lifestyle. Then repeat the process because they are inexpensive to replace. All freedoms have a cost. Some are worth it. Oftentimes, the jobs you get on the road also combine entertainment, such as a hiking guide. As far as career opportunities, the only sector I see with potential is the green movement. And even that is a crapshoot. So I don't stress over career decisions. Instead, I hit the road and live. Some of these gigs pay a wage, some just a stipend, and some merely exchange free camping and utilities for a 20-hour per week work commitment as a campground host. I lived on the road for 8 years, and here is the annual chronology that some may find intriguing. The first year living on the road, I actually may have worked a bit too much. This permitted me to take it easy the next year. The wintertime was spent as a fill-in shuttle bus driver on weekends and holidays at Angel Fire Ski Resort in New Mexico. The pay was 50 cents over minimum wage, but the real perks were the free ski pass and a free place to park my coach in the employee parking lot. 11% of the state's population are Native American Indians, and my boss was one of them. She was a Pueblo Indian who went by the name Snowball. As a matter of fact, we dated a bit. I told Snowball that I was a tad concerned dating a superior, but she nonchalantly replied, "Don't think of me as your boss. Think of me as a friend who can fire you." She was stunningly beautiful, and I kind of stuttered as I was trying to connect the tongue with the brain prior to talking. She was playfully yet cruelly mimicking my slight stammer, so I told her to get a grip. Then discovered I don't like being choked. In late April, I headed up to Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. This job had been lined up through Xanterra, who is the main employment company for U.S. national parks. The job was in the Park Facilities Department, where duties primarily consisted of light maintenance and trash removal. It was chosen solely for the sake that it was outdoors. This gig too paid 50 cents over minimum wage, but I also received a free campsite with hookups as well as a 50% off meals card. The foremost perks, however, were enjoying the best park in the world on my days off. In mid-autumn, I headed east 830 miles to the Red River Valley near Fargo, North Dakota. The annual sugar beet harvest needs about 1,250 temporary employees for the 3 to 6 week harvesting. The job was basically filtering beets along a conveyor belt, for which I was paid $4 over minimum wage. Late fall and early winter, I worked at the Amazon.com fulfillment center in Fernley, Nevada. And although I did profit, it was not self-fulfilling, working in this massive cement-floored, 750,000 square foot warehouse. I got a free place to park my coach, plus earned $2 over minimum wage, plus an additional $1 per hour bonus for staying through December 23rd. Ha! Check out what I read on the men's room wall. Quote, Jeff Bezos worked long, difficult hours for little pay to fulfill his lifelong dream of making other people work long, difficult hours for little pay. Injun Joe say, we take wisdom break. Although the fictional philosophical anarchist Zebidiah Funkbutter can be a tad crass and rather juvenile, he is also well-versed in navigating life's pitfalls. Shazam! A bit too much time was spent working my first year of living on the road, so I made it a point to back things down a smidgen in year 2. Much less driving was required because 3/4 of my time was played out in Southern California. On a whim, I worked a small Renaissance fair in Corona, California, and then a large one in Apache Junction, Arizona. It was fun, and I also learned a great deal about blacksmithing, becoming a decent farrier in the process. I now understood equine hoof care and could trim and balance horses' hooves via properly placing horseshoes. And an extra grand in my pocket were extra bonuses. Ring-a-ding-ding, Zeb! From April 1st through September 30th was devoted to camp hosting in the San Gabriel Mountains in Southern California. The camp host job entailed checking campers into their campsites, collecting fees, selling firewood, and light restroom maintenance. Even though I had by far the best campsite in the campground, look at that view, it got darn hot during the summer. I think I'll head further north next time. The fall and early winter were shared stealth camping in San Diego, where I surfed, dug for clams, hunted for grunion, partied, relaxed, and yes, I somehow managed to refrain from roller disco. Let's see, a week in Coronado, a week in Point Loma, a week in La Jolla, a week in Julian, a week in Cardiff, 2 weeks in the Cuyamaca Mountains, and 3 weeks in the desert near the Salton Sea. I also worked 2 weekends in December at a Christmas tree lot for cash, where I befriended a bird, but had to get rid of him. You know the saying, a bird in the hand makes it hard to blow your nose. I really enjoyed myself at the 2 Renaissance fairs. I worked last year, so this year, number 3, I traveled more extensively, working 11 of them. Downtime between fairs was spent visiting historic sites, traveling, and general screw-around time. Renaissance fairs are held all over this country, but since I seldom go east of the Dakotas, my list exclusively consists of Western state Ren fairs. Oh, and here is a funny side note. Without thinking it through, I foolhardily brought my old pal Timmy Dial to the Larkspur, Colorado Ren Fair, where he got kicked out on his very first day. Apparently, he got arrested on stage because he had misread the fair's need for a loot act performance. Got hired on the staff of an RV park just outside of El Paso, Texas, for the entire winter. I did some maintenance, but it was primarily janitorial work. Injun Joe say, "You bad wiper." Other than seeing a few wild horses, it was rather boring and the scenery not all that appealing. So after earning a mere 90 cents over minimum wage, it was time to hit the road. I took my sweet time to my next destination of Las Vegas, Nevada, as I stopped at a couple cool old ghost towns, including one in Chloride, New Mexico. Oh, and a semi-funny side note as I called Timmy Dial to shoot the shit. I realized that he has a lot in common with ghosts. Only naive people believe in them. Ah, come on, laugh! That's the spirit. I also visited Carlsbad Caverns and the Four Corners, where Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah all come together at one place. Arrived in Las Vegas mid-May and set up camp at the Main Street Station RV Park in downtown Vegas, where it is clean, cheap, and I could run my rig's air conditioner in the desert heat. This $9 per day resort would be home for the next 2 months. I am a semi-professional poker player, but also have a dealer certificate from a 6-week dealer school taken a while back. All the Indian casinos were popping up. Anyway, the World Series of Poker starts in late May and ends in mid-July. I made $9,500 during this 7-week period, plus got free food in the employee break room. This lifestyle allows you to move around and work in bursts, and I love it. That being said, I was ready to move on. Pendleton, Oregon hosts a 5-day tournament that begins 10 days after the World Series and thankfully does not have such high temperatures as the desert. The money wasn't quite as good as Vegas, but an awesome 4-course free dinner was served nightly. 9 days after the Pendleton Roundup poker tournament, I headed 590 miles southwest to Reno, Nevada for a 4-day tourney. It was similar to Pendleton, except for one particular player in the tournament who was frequently praying. So I casually commented that he must be a fine, upstanding churchgoer. He gruffly replied, "Nah, I actually mean it when I pray at a casino." The remaining part of the year, I camped along the Rogue River in southern Oregon. It's a great river, and I apprenticed, for no pay, on a dozen rafting trips down the Rogue so as to build my resume. And although the free casino breakfasts were often unedibly rancid, all in all, it was a successful dealing season, earning $17,370. Thanks, Sparky.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Injun Joe say, thank for watching. Forget part 2.